So, how does AI factor into this? When we're talking about surveys and CX, like, is it going to help us? Is it going to hinder us? Where do you see that? A
Well,
little bit of each.
first of all, I love ChatGPT. We actually have our own ChatGPT engine.
Yeah.
So, fully bought into AI. Actually, it really should be called large language models, right?
Right.
Right now, because intelligence is not where it's at. So, it does a lot of great things. So that's the first thing I'd like to say. But it doesn't write surveys, so do not use it for that. Really don't use it for that. It's a large language model, so it's just combing what other surveys are doing, and most surveys are not being held to a scientific standard. Okay, so don't use it for writing surveys. Now, another very common thing that people do with AI is they use it for analysis. And with quantitative information, it just doesn't work because the kind of analysis that you want to do for quant is what we call segmentation analysis. That's where you're comparing different populations sort of side by side. Say you have OEMs and distributors and end users. You want to be able to compare each of those populations and how they're responding to each survey question. And so that's a little too complex for any kind of analysis that AI can do right now. Now, another way that companies use AI is for their text analysis. That can be great, but again, remember right now, AI is not general intelligence, it's a large language model, which means it really has to be trained to
Yeah.
be effective. So it's not, yeah, you can just throw, and we experiment with mostly ChatGPT, but some of the other large language models too. Yeah, you can put the text into one of those engines, but especially for a B2B, it's just not pulling out the nuances that you need. And sometimes it's hallucinogenic. It's coming up with stuff that sounds really great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we did it recently and I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then I was like, wait a minute, let's like really read this. And it was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked really good. Like these were good sentences and really, and I was just like, oh, done and done. And no, 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 no. So it can be quite misleading. That said, AI, very useful if it's trained. So you need researchers working side by side with AI. It's easily confused even with sentiment, which is the easiest part of text. So sentiment is like, are they happy? Are they sad? Like, how did they feel? But a sentence like, love your company in particular, but your customer service is a real hardship.
Mm.
Well, many AI solutions are not going to rate that for what it is. That was a mixed comment.
Yeah.
That was not, they're going to say, go with that first phrase. Oh, they're positive. Love your company. That's not actually what they said. And that's very simple. Sentiment is very, very easy. What's more complex is finding the meaning, the emergent themes, what customers are actually talking about. And so that's much more difficult than sentiment. And so even sentiment has its problems.
Right.
But okay, let's put that aside. And what's more important almost is what are customers talking about? What and how are they thinking? What are the topics? And so, LLMs can be a useful kind of side by side with researchers, but they really do need to be trained. I hope that wasn't too shaggy, whatever they say, shaggy dog an answer, shaggy